Queen Dave is here in the bylighting. This is a Poonage's joint. Make sure to like and subscribe immediately. We've already got these clicked. We'll just yell them as it happens. Because we got totally robbed of our climax last time.
Okay, here is my long-awaited review of Kamala Harris's book, 107 Days. I'm going to be reading certain passages from this book, along with going over everyone that she blamed for her loss except her own damn self. All right, let's start. Joe Biden, she blamed him within the first 3 pages of the book.
He was the first person to be blamed for sure in the election. Though I think even Kamala Harris can realize Joe Biden bad, right? She's stupid though. She really. We said this last night, but I'm going to repeat myself. She really should have delineated between herself and Joe Biden if she really felt so differently.
Ricchetti, Matt Donnellan, Anita Dunn, Joe Biden's entire staff. She somehow didn't think she'd have any challenges with 107 days and Joe's endorsement. She loved to use the term joyful warriors peppered throughout this book. It only took her 22 pages for her to basically let everyone know that women get judged for their appearance. Yes, Kamala, but it's not by men. It's by other women.
Yeah, so we click misogyny on
complain about Trump being a rich kid, joked about his bankruptcy, even though Trump owns over 5.
Watch this video again on the Dingo card. The internet makes me okay. Don't put in the newspaper that I watched this twice.
500 companies, or at least the Trump group owns over 500 companies. And Trump has never declared personal bankruptcy. Trump has declared business bankruptcy. There is a difference between the two, and yet...
There is a difference between the two. He sounds like a big magical cat. There is a difference. Next NPC. Big magical cat.
It's a smart move to do if your
Kamala Harris lost the election.
business is dying.
Dying.
Or a business you own is dying.
Okay, so my head, you know, like the Soldier Boy, ooh, do that, but every time Dave goes yeen on the end of a word, that's how we yeen. A Midwestern anthem.
She still is lying about working at Walmart. There's virtually no proof of her ever working at Walmart.
There's no proof of Kamala Harris working at Walmart. I don't know. I believe it. One of the most prominent employers of all time. I think that sucks. I don't know if it matters, though. I feel like Kamala Harris certainly forgot that she was ever, bound by the wage she made per hour.
She whines about Joe not thinking she's loyal. She blamed Karine Jean-Pierre. She basically accused the Joe Biden staff of making her look bad.
I work at Walmart. Do you have proof, bro? You have fucking proof?
Joe Biden's entire staff and team also get thrown under the bus, by the way. She blames Netanyahu.
I never read the card, but we might as well. Yikes, Dave. Sigma, alpha, beta, sexual harassment, which we clicked. Triggered. Cell phone, which we've clicked. Boring, which we've clicked. Sweetheart, which we've clicked. Misogyny, which we've clicked. Ableism, argues the chat. Rare W, worries about testosterone. Yelling, which we've clicked. EP, go fuck yourself. NPC dialogue, which we've clicked. Big man, worries about money. No. Video rewatch, pedo, and all of those, including all our agains.
The anti-Israel protesters. She talks about Trump like he's Satan. She blames J.D. Vance.
Trump is kind of Satan-y.
She blames various fire marshals throughout the book. They weren't letting out people in. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. She blames, of all people, CNN and Dana Bash for making her look old and tired. See a pattern here? Everyone sucks but me.
Old and tired.
She blames Joe Biden repeatedly. She blames, of all people, Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines, but then just says fuck it and throws every young male voter under the bus. Yeah, geez, maybe the young men didn't want to get on the eat shit young men and died party.
There's something to be said for his NPC dialogue tree and the way that he just absolutely must repeat himself all the time. Surely there's a diagnosis that we could come to that would explain such behavior. Maybe a diagnosis that would help Dave in the long run deal with his mental health. But no! We shan't.
She blames the media, even though the media did everything in its collective power to try to get her into office. She then blames...
I don't know if the media did everything in its collective power to try to get Kamala Harris in office. They love Trump so much. They just love Trump. The media companies, especially the corporations and stuff, are owned by billionaires who profit from Trump being in charge.
She only had 107 days. She blames Trump immigration's rhetoric, or was he speaking the truth? That's why he bought it, or we bought it. She blames...
That's why we bought it. I love framing your experience with Donald Trump as, oh, I bought this one. You know what I mean? Finally.
Social media. She blames social media again.
Okay. I already clicked it.
Every celebrity endorsed Kamala Harris with a few exceptions. Every newscaster with some exceptions endorsed Kamala Harris. She blames Marjorie Taylor Greene. Not sure what the fuck she had to do with that. She blames a lack of debate. She then goes on and says that the debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz sunk her. Yeah, because Walz looked like a wimp. If all...
A wimp. He looked like a wimp. Dude, I love that Dave thinks that being strong is throwing tantrums and, like, hanging up on people.
Only that was the worst thing that happened to Walz. She blames the $750 payments to the victims of Hurricane Helena. She blames 60 Minutes and the Trump lawsuit. By the way, the lawsuit was filed or settled after the election, sweetheart.
Sweetheart. I already clicked it. Yeah, I agree. Tim Walz is not good at any of this stuff. He sounded like, relative to Kamala Harris's politics are much better, but like he's being such a limp dick right now too. Democrats in general, liberals, they're just disappointing.
She blames the LA Times, the Washington Post. She blames...
It's the second time. Does he say boast on purpose, the Washington Post? Is that a thing?
Jeff Bezos and Jeff Bezos' wife's tits. The transgender ad that was just a recording of what she said in an interview. She of course blames Elon Musk. It's almost at the end of the book. I'm shocked he wasn't on page 2. She repeats the lie that the election was close. It wasn't. She blames Joe Rogan.
It wasn't? I'm pretty sure it was close. It was way closer than the Democrats deserved, given the dog shit that they ran. Like, it's a testament to people just fucking hating Trump that she had a shot when... Like after the first 2 weeks when they had all this momentum, she's like, basically, by the way, I like genocide, fuck Palestine, you know, I like corporations. It's like, man, she's just so bad. All of the liberals are bad, but they don't have to be, but they choose to be. Because it enriches them specifically for a short period of time while they have an in with corporations. It's so incredibly short-sighted.
She blames her own staff, and now I'll start reading some of the passages that I highlighted in the book. First one is on 139.
Why is he so beautiful? He just looks like that, dude.
and I quote, that a woman and a person of color could be at the podium accepting the nomination. Yeah, we've already had a woman accept the nomination and she lost. And we had a person of color accept the nomination and he won. It was called Barack Obama.
I love this shit. You get one, okay? And he has to be a guy. Look, I also hate Kamala Harris. I think she sucks. She's a cop. However, like, the way he talks about Barack Obama as if he solves racism is so crazy. The way that Kamala Harris and other liberals co-opt identity politics and shit, though, that's crazy too. Like, I always think of like Sargon of Akkad or whoever, like, whenever they discuss people that they hate, they're really just talking about pretty much exactly Kamala Harris or Hillary Clinton, but they apply that to everybody. And they never have the critical thinking skills to like listen to anything else because they've sort of signed on to this ideology. But like, you know, all these corporate motherfuckers trying, like, they like adopt woke speak or what the fuck ever, and they pay lip service without knowing how to do anything, and then it just like sours the entire culture on even the topic of equity. It's so crazy, dude. It almost feels like a psyop.
You are not new. There was nothing unique and new about you. Oh, except you were both of them. Well, guess what? You are a shittier candidate than both of them.
I still think Hillary is worse.
Next is on 143. It's a 143.
I do think, even though I hate him, I do think it would be hilarious if Trump tries to run for a third time to run Obama. Even though I don't fucking like either of them. I think it would be really... They would get so mad and lose. Like, Barack Obama would definitely win. That sucks. That's a hell I don't want to go to. I think that'd be better. Okay, wait. Hold on. You're in hell. Barack Obama or Gavin Newsom? Go chat. Pick one. Barack Obama's third term or Gavin Newsom. Which liberal? Obama. Me too. Yep. Me too. And he would still fucking drone weddings.
Or 144. I was on 144. Okay. In a statement that day, Donald Trump blamed the shooting on a sick and deranged monster. He did not mention the gun. Yes, Kamala, because a sick, deranged monster was the one that aimed the gun, loaded the gun, and shot the gun. I
forgot about this NRA bumper sticker argument.
Have yet to meet the gun that can load itself, point itself, and fire itself.
These are definitely things that already exist and have long before AI.
Gun is an inanimate object. Guns do not kill people. People kill people. Guns don't get duckling. They just use guns to do it.
Jesus Christ. His fucking breathing.
See here, 160 something or other that don't have it. Or whatever. She says this about gun controls. If somebody breaks into my house, they'll get shot. Yes, that's generally the point of having a gun. But it's...
I agree. He should stop. Really, dude, it might happen if he just tries. I bet you could talk Dave into holding his breath until he passed out if you just convinced him that you wanted him to do the opposite thing really bad. Like, if it would piss you off, if he knew it would piss you off that he held his breath until he passed out, he would do it. Isn't that fucking sick?
It's the truth. I've never made a big deal of being a gun owner, but I have reason to have a handgun. I store it securely, and I know how to use it. Yeah.
All right. Kamala Harris is just telling Republicans that they shouldn't do the Pelosi shit with her and Doug. Which, I mean, I don't blame her. But That's really what that is. That's just saying.
It's
Or have a
cold.
gun. So I love ice. I love ice, dude. Why would you make your profile a bootlicker? Like, why on site would you be like flagging to people that you're a bootlicker? Explain that. Why don't you just name yourself Cuck? Guys, I got hummus from the local halal place. Humiliation cake. Do you condemn hummus? No, I condemn Sabra. I like hummus.
Good advice. But again, your gun if
Again!
it kills someone will be by your hand, not on its own.
No.
And then she goes on to say a few paragraphs later, he should have been blaming the lax gun laws he championed, since the arrested man who had a criminal record had been flagged by the FBI as being illegally in possession of weapons, including a fully automatic machine gun. Despite numerous convictions, he obviously had no trouble obtaining a lethal weapon. Yeah, it's amazing. Criminals break the law.
This is something a cuck would say for sure. Bad boys are bad, aren't they? I was a bad boy? Oh no! Shut up. Criminals break the law. Look, man. I don't even like I'm not interested in making someone a criminal if they do break the law. Like, I'm not interested in being like, that's a criminal. What I'm interested in is rectifying the thing that went bad, and if there is systemic cause, we solve it, and if it's a personal cause, we solve it. Often it's both. So, I mean,
Heroin has been illegal forever and a day. People still get it. You can find it at pretty much any county fucking fair.
I love the admission that the drug war is a failure and the capitalist state has no answer towards this. Whereas someone who cared about the well-being of people who were on heroin and didn't want their communities to be overrun with heroin overuse, you know what I mean? You would simply have health care available to all people, so that if they did have an addiction, you could solve it, and you would have places where people could do these drugs safely so that they could be weaned off of them because they're highly addictive. Often the people that get addicted to opiates are prescribed them at the beginning. And then they have to seek it elsewhere because their health care denies them either A, more of the pain killing that they need to function, or B, and usually this is more often the case, to help them get off of this highly addictive substance without fucking any resources instead. It's just so crazy. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna happen. I think heroin should be illegal in the same way that like fucking you know, any other kind of thing that like I don't know, amphetamines or whatever. Like, I think we should be able to have some amphetamines from time to time. I think they're very helpful for people with ADHD. You know, they help me if I ever have any. So, like, heroin and other shit, you call it whatever you want. Like, the opiate, the thing, I don't mind if there's a place for people to go that want to experience these things in a safe environment at all. I don't care. Go do that. And I also don't care if, like, someone is just taking opiates and then they happen to get addicted. I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a big fucking drug addict. No, that you need help, and you don't have to stay fucking, you know, enslaved to your biology because your body is screaming at you to give you more drugs that your fucking doctor gave you. By the way, this would happen less and less in a non-profit based system anyway, because you wouldn't have doctors that profit off of slinging this shit around, so which is a lot of where it comes from. Heroin's prescribed like methadone in Europe. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can do it in safe amounts and under your supervision, just like anything. Like, they prescribe all sorts of opiates. But if you just want to fucking, especially now because we have a drug culture, like in my system over years, you wouldn't necessarily have the same kind of drug culture. But right now we have to like address the American drug culture, which is going to be recreational users and also people that are just on the streets because of this. And so you need to have a place for them to go where you can just regulate it and get them safe. It doesn't matter. Like, instead of just like throwing them fucking nothing and then like making a black market that moves through countries you destabilize to the south, you know what I mean? We're going to destabilize the countries and then we're going to create black markets where these people can explicitly profit from American dollars that they're kept away from, even though we're ripping their natural resources away and constantly destabilizing their governments for our own good and well-being. Like, of course human beings are going to find systems that get them money in a system where you force them to get money to succeed. If you don't, they will stop. They will just stop.
And we'll move over to page 174. I hadn't believed it, but now I was experiencing it. And then a reality check. He's a con man. He's really good at it. That's
a reality check. He's a con man. I love the idea that Kamala Harris found out at some point during her last, like the 107 days that she ran, that Donald Trump was a con man. That's when she fucking found out.
It's every fucking politician. Bernie Sanders is a con man. Zoran Mamdani is a con man. Jason Carter,
Zoran Mamdani's a con man for not conning people and instead providing them with amenities in their community. That's conning people. He doesn't know what it means, man. Like, there's no standard by which Dave determines people are con men. He just thinks it's something you lob at someone when you don't like them.
His grandfather observed that Jimmy Carter was the same person no matter who he was or where he was. And for me, that's the definition of integrity. Trump epitomized the exact opposite.
He's trying.
Trump's pretty much the same, dude.
Dude.
Anytime you meet him.
Fake as fuck. You don't know Donald Trump.
At least from what I've heard. I've never met the man in public.
You never met the man anywhere.
I read myself for a phone conversation with Mr. Hyde, but Dr. Jekyll picked up the call. Oh, because Trump was nice to you. Would you prefer
just die, yeah.
he treated you like a complete bitch the entire time?
Batch. Can't believe it. He's duplicitous.
And then on page 192...
Dude, his facial hair is crazy in this. How can you handle
But, yeah, I mean, yeah, I like...
over your
yeah,
lips like that.
He coerced me into sucking him off.
Those bits are so ridiculous. When Dave meet Trump in private? Never. Maybe in his fucking dreams. He probably watches AI Trump porn. Maybe that's it.
She says this: no sooner did we pass a law than the gun lobby filed suit and
I prefer Gub Lobby. I think that would be funnier. Gub Lobby.
conservative court overturned it.
Gub Lobby?
Yeah, because pretty much the way our Constitution works, any gun control is unconstitutional. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What part of that do you not understand, my dear?
Apparently, he thinks that if it does not say shall not be infringed, then you think, like, he doesn't seem to care about the other amendments around it. He doesn't seem to give a shit because, like, you know, Alex Preddy didn't matter. He could just get his first, second, third, fourth, and fifth amendments all fucking taken right for him. And sixth, maybe? Probably all of them.
And boy, howdy, I really hope you run in 28, because I'm going to have fun. Meanwhile, the lawless found ways to get around the scant regulations still in place. Yes, it's almost like criminals don't follow the law.
Yeah. I mentioned this last night, but it's worth repeating. I don't understand how Dave can say that none of this should be regulated and then also describe everyone who avoids those regulations as criminals. You should not believe that they are criminals if you believe that they have the constitutional right not to.
I'm an American citizen.
Exactly.
I can have it. The founding fathers let people purchase cannons. The most powerful destructive weapon of the day.
Exactly, dude. Thank you, Kenny. How do you not? They're either criminals or they're American citizens that should be able to have all the guns they want or whatever. Pick one. By the way, I believe in some regulation, but only after the government is like more regulated.
They get their guns not at the local gun shop, sports store, or anything of the sort. They go to Bill in the back alley and buy guns from his windowless van.
Okay. Why is that bad? Shall not be infringed. Why is it bad to get guns from Bill in a van? What are you worried about if a guy gets guns from Bill in a van, David? I don't understand, and I don't think he does either, where his ethic on this could possibly set. What is criminal about that? In his worldview. So it shall be infringed in cases when Bill doesn't have the paperwork to do it or something?
Again.
So you agree that some regulation is due? Okay, well, we're arguing for a further degree of regulation. So you can't just say, well, on principle, you can't regulate it at all if you agree to some regulation. Dumbass. I feel like the only smart person that's ever existed sometimes. I know you guys all exist, but man.
Heroin has been illegal forever and a day. You can still find it at any county fair.
The sound.
And then there's this on page 294. No, 194, excuse me. There is a bleak, tragic history in the commentary, or in this country,
Holy
of
shit.
demonizing immigrants. Jewish refugees who were denied entry when fleeing annihilation in Nazi Germany. America did not know about the concentration camps nor the genocide
Wrong and avoiding the point, not an argument.
until after World War II, or when World War II was damn near done.
Wrong. Make shit up.
The Chinese, the Italians, the Irish, who were hated, vilified, and slandered in almost the same terms as the right uses today against today's migrants. Well, yeah, the Chinese were, but again, they were not assimilating, and they were bringing a lot of bad stuff over at the time.
This is old-timey racism. Yeah. I mean, you could put this guy in any sort of slave house situation, he'd be like, oh yeah, all right, this is good. This guy would happily be a slaver. 1800s racism, buddy. Bro, still running Windows 98 for fact checking. Fucking Windows 1898, 1798.
I'm sure were the Italians, sure. As for the Irish, they were largely brought over as indentured servants, and they were treated worse than slaves.
So you agree with Kamala Harris? You agree with Kamala Harris? I think his idea of the Irish experience is like Gangs of New York or something.
So again, Kamala, if you're going to use these historical comparisons, you might actually want to read history. Ask
I like that Dave says that after he gives three wrong factoids in a row from like fake history documentaries he's watched while drunk as shit on his mom's couch. You might actually want to read history. All right, cite your fucking sources for this. Can't? Then you don't know how to read history. No, historian doesn't know how to sort their fucking cite their sources.
for the Italians, once they
Or sort their cices, really.
started selling pizza, everything was cool. And as for today's migrant, we're not talking about people who legally came here. Almost all of these people came in a legal way or a way that was legal at the time. We're talking about illegal migrants, my dear.
They're not illegal.
There is a huge difference between the two.
There's not. You're just stupid. They're not. There's no difference. There's zero difference between someone getting on a boat from fucking Italy to America as they fled the war versus anyone walking from fucking South America or Central America to fucking the U.S. border. There's no difference. And then most of them were stayed. Yeah, most Italians just stayed. Yeah, whatever.
And finally, on page 195, she
Paperwork, I guess, yeah.
sums up this chapter with, I was the one who walked through tunnels that traffickers used to smuggle contraband and broken up a heroin trafficking ring connected with Mexico, or Mexican cartels.
He cannot read.
Done the hard work to bring criminals to justice and relief to the families of their victims. While you were leaving the border,
Leaving.
wider open than Megan Fox's cunt. Fucking
That was the sexual harassment we clicked for the bingo.
brilliant. Or actually, in your case, I should probably say wider open than your goddamn mouth.
Weird. And then I yelled at someone's pizza. Was it Gnome Pickles for having a cheese pizza? Okay, so let's relive that. What's with cheese pizza being like the most popular pizza? What's that about? And then the internet shut off. Maybe it'll happen again. Hopefully not. I would not want to watch this a third time. It's good? Why? No, it's not. No. It's not delicious. How dare you? What is wrong with cheese? It's basic and boring. Yeah, there's no reason. Because most of the places you're getting cheese pizza is like fucking Domino's. Disgusting. If the cheese pizza is like delicious cheeses or whatever, sure, I get it. But like, my problem on principle is paying some corporate fucking chain for their shitty cheese product on bread. If I'm gonna get cheese, anything, it's gonna be cheesy bread, so that you get like the garlic sauce. If I'm gonna get pizza, let's get stuff on it, right? At least one thing. You want your pizza to be thick? Did we get you Detroit style last time you were out here? Or have you had it somewhere? So good. You just too fancy? No, I'm not. Pepperoni is not fancy. Although, like I was saying last night, in defense of the cheese pizza, though it's not a cheese pizza, the margarita is my favorite pizza. It's not a cheese pizza, though. It's got basil on it. But a good margarita. Still looking for one. A lot of people make bad ones. I love veggie pizza, too.
Then we move on to 217. And she writes, we have so much to learn from indigenous people about how to treat this fragile earth. They were custodians of this land for thousands of years. What is it with the left and their absolute racist thought that every fucking Native American is in tune with nature?
I don't think the left does that. I definitely think liberals do that. For sure. They make magical out of the native experience. I do think it is weird, but I feel like Kamala Harris said they were custodians of the land for thousands of years before us, which doesn't sound magical to me. But I do think that some liberals do that shit, like crystal moms and stuff. Although I definitely see, frankly, 100% of Republicans do this, and they are just flatly racist. And then some liberals do this, yes, for sure. But I mean, like, don't call it the left, and definitely right-wingers do this more than anybody. Nobody, okay, ever talk to a boomer about their life? Every single time there is a non-white person in a story they tell, they mention the race and color of their skin. They'll be like, oh, this Asian boy, this Mexican guy, this black lady. You know, they'll say that shit all the time. It's so weird. It's not how I think about stuff. Like, race is maybe on the list of things I note about someone in my head, but when I'm telling a story about someone, I'm not like, oh yeah, my Asian friend. You know what I mean? Like, it's every single time with boomers. All of them. And almost all of those are right-wingers, and the good ones tend to be liberal. If you find a woke boomer, I doubt they speak like that. I guarantee you they don't. Anyway.
I happen to know some that don't know jack and shit about gardening. And no, they weren't stewarding the land for
Self-weed.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you. For 34 months. I would argue that living a relatively pastoral life, very non-disruptively towards the local, like, flora and fauna, as pretty much every single native population did, including the ones that built whole-ass cities and roads. Like, these were real. They were colonized and murdered because they didn't have the technology of gunpowder, because they didn't have any use for it, because they weren't warring barbarians like us.
thousands of years. Mostly, they were hunting, gathering, and killing each other.
I would argue that they're not woke boomers if they're... I would say that they're like the liberals I'm talking about. I would be like... I never met like a boomer that gets it, that framed it in race so like that. They might use older terms, but I don't think they would use, at least in my experience, they don't usually just center race in the way that like these fucking racists do.
That's what they were doing. I know you...
You got a what?
When you did your Jeremy video about Greg DeVito, you mentioned cabaret at one point.
Yeah, but I was trying really hard to remember it.
But you said that there's a character that sucks Nazi dick in Cabaret, and now I'm wondering which character are you talking about, because the movie and the stage play have totally different characters.
Well, not the movie.
Not the movie?
Not the movie. The Nazi character that... well, actually, I think Liza Minnelli's character does suck Nazi dick.
Well, she's sort of like, it won't affect me because I'm...
Yeah, but
she's also clearly crashing out.
Right, but that's not who I was thinking. I was thinking about the Nazi, the actual Nazi, who's like a secret Nazi, and then the lady that's with him and the people that fucking sit around.
That show up to the party. And
then
American takes his jacket off and he's like, what the fuck,
there's a bunch of those guys around. Yeah, those guys.
Yeah. The one he smuggles for.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to put him on screen.
I've watched multiple versions of Cabaret, chat. I'm cultured.
You don't like that, but again, if you're going to use history, you might want to read it before you fucking use it.
That'd be great. Be great, Dave. Little same advice.
And then on page 240, she writes, I had known Reverend Sharpton for many years, working with him for criminal justice reform, praying with him at funerals for young black men killed in police shootings. The only reason Al Sharpton cares when any black person gets shot, it's when it's at the hands of white police officers. Because if you take up the number of black people or persons legitimately, questionably shot by police, that were, let's say, legitimately unarmed and maybe or maybe not posing a threat, it comes to about maybe 4 for the entire country.
Racist, but worse off. Yikes, Dave, for being so easily brought in by racist fucking propaganda that is untrue. So this is literally like Nazis going through and trying to say like, oh, it's not legitimate because the claim of this officer, like, fuck off. This is not even close. Not even close. Legitimately questionable. No. You should not be such a fucking cuck. You shouldn't allow people to be murdered by the fucking state. You're just a loser. There are multiple bingos in play, but I don't know if we're going to do them. Pedo stuff? No. Oh, we already did sexual harassment. I guess those are the only two.
A year. Most of the time when the police shoot them, they're either charging at them, have a weapon of
They're charging at them. Yeah. Charlie Kirk doesn't have a neck because he was saying shit like this.
their own, and yes, are presenting a threat. You get about 4 that are questionable. If it is just blatant murder, guess what? The cop goes to fucking jail. Al Sharpton doesn't give a crap about the thousands and thousands and thousands of young black men killed by other young black men, and it ain't over any fucking civil rights issue.
It ain't. So thousands, like over years and years and years, populations killing each other, especially in highly dense areas, is normal. But like, there's not a disproportionate per capita number here relative to white people or any other race in the same grouping. White people kill each other and others more than any other group, including kids who they sexually abuse at a higher rate than any other group. So I just don't know, man. I just don't know. I think one shows character of people and the other one shows like population density statistics, you know? Because he's talking like Chicago or something, you know, it's always Chicago. And their gun violence issue has been bad. It gets better when you have handgun regulation and you lift up people that live in those communities rather than just underserving them and leaving them to basically try to survive under capitalism in the only markets that are allowed, which are illegal. Like, you can either have a normal job that fucks you, or you can try to have an illegal job where violence on your community is part of the expectation. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course. But this is a system that white people put into place on purpose so that they can try to say this shit. This is the same shit that's used against Palestinians, native populations, Minnesota right now, Somalis. It's all the same shit. It's just racism.
It's over drug territory. Hell, there are gangs in LA and Chicago that have been fighting so long, none of them remember why. Because the people that were at the start of the gang war are all dead or in prison. Al Sharpton doesn't give a fuck about any of them.
The gang war. He calls it the gang war. What is that? What? Can you describe the gang war? Can you give me some details on the gang war?
You call Trump a con man. Guess what Al Sharpton is? Huh?
Yeah, he's like a reverend. Yeah.
And then on page 251, since Trump enabled the overthrow of Roe, I cannot remember exactly off the top of my head when Roe v. Wade was overturned, but I believe it was under Biden's presidency. And Trump didn't overturn it. The Supreme Court did, and they didn't
Trump appointed Supreme Court on purpose. This is exactly it.
even overturn it. They just sent it back to the states. But she continues, the consequences have gone beyond.
He sent it back to the states. Anyway, I think human rights should be for everyone all over the world, irrespective of where they're at, including Alabama.
on the denied of basic rights and the denial of care and the loss of health and life. Okay, first off, abortion is not a right. It's not in the Constitution. Second,
It's not in the he doesn't respect the Constitution anywhere. I disagree, by the way. We should put in the Bill of Rights the right to bodily autonomy, which includes the right to abortion.
off, you and Joe Biden, let's say that Roe v.
You don't have to have it in the fucking Constitution for it to be a law, by the way.
Wade was
Idiocy.
overturned during Trump's first term. You and Biden had 4 years, and I believe at one point had all 3 chambers, and you did nothing. For 4 years, you did nothing to enshrine it in federal law. Oh,
Rare W. True, liberals are trash.
is that because abortion is actually on the list of people's issues? Not that big of a fucking deal. It might have worked.
No. It's not that big of a fucking deal. What they thought they could do... God, you're so stupid. Why do you miss the plot every time? No. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, all the liberals, Hillary Clinton, Pelosi, Schumer, they think that by leveraging the fragility of Roe v. Wade, that they can get people to continue to vote for them despite liberals doing nothing for them. Like, essentially, Republicans run on, we're going to fucking take rights away from these people, but it also is secretly everybody. And Democrats go, if you vote for us, we won't let them. You know what I mean? It's a hostage situation. And then you get the occasional progressive that tries to do stuff, and we move the needle slowly as ever towards something good when it makes pragmatic sense and when the liberals think that they'll win elections because the public opinion has moved far enough to the left to keep it that way.
It might have worked in the midterms, but
if Congress actually gets stuff done, they'll have nothing to promise in their re-election campaigns. It's so crazy, too, because if you just do the jobs and everybody likes it, they'll be like, you're staying. You know what I mean? It's just job security. You'll keep your stupid little job, and we can keep having nice things.
didn't work anywhere else. On page 260
shit.
she writes, I don't remember, Cardi B. She was talking about Cardi B. She was so genuine and passionate as she spoke about being underestimated and as a woman having to have twice the talent and work twice as hard. If you think Cardi B has talent, I have some lakefront property I'd love to sell you in Florida.
It's always that. The Florida property. It's clearly Cardi B has talent. Clearly. Like what?
Only to be questioned when she got to the top.
Yeah, there's lakes in Florida. Does he think there's not lakes in Florida? I thought the joke was that he just isn't a man of the means to have property in Florida. But he thinks there's no lakes in Florida, like Lake Okeechobee. Does he like Nicki Minaj now? He does. He loves anyone who's associated with pedophilia.
What's she done to get there? I know many women who can relate to that. Well, we know how you got to the top, and it was sucking dick. I know.
It was sucking dick. Dave's so jealous, dude. I already clicked sexual harassment.
Shame, but that's how you got to the top. You sucked the right men's dicks. Anyway, 2 days before the election, she writes this at the end of whatever chapter this is. That Sunday, I still believed our campaign of joy would triumph in 2 days. Well, it didn't. You lost the Electoral College. You lost all 7 swing states. You lost the popular vote, the House, the Senate. You didn't even win a single county. You did worse.
Didn't win a single county. Well, that's not true. Wait, why does he think that? There was down ballot left-wing wins all throughout this, by the way. Throughout the entire election, including in Michigan, there was left-wing wins. Like, Democrats outperformed Kamala Harris. And this is because she didn't delineate herself between any sort of progressivism that she could have possibly adopted even just for the election, and Joe Biden's positions of like aiding genocide and being dog shit, like super ass. It was like 1% margin. Yeah. Trump got every single electoral college vote. Every single county in California went to Trump. That's true, actually. Even New York went red. Yeah, she said, I wouldn't do anything differently to Joe. And then she's like, well, why did I lose? You dumbass. And Joe Biden. I mean, there should have been a primary. It shouldn't have even been her. But
every fucking county. New York was closer to flipping red than Texas was flipping blue, bitch. We only got a couple more of these. So I'm gonna
that's not true.
Couple more. I ask you to bear with me here. This is the last one from the book proper, though. The other one that I highlighted is from the foreword. At the White House, President Trump watched the violence on Fox News and did nothing to stop it. This is a flat-out lie. First,
it's not a lie. Why is he still on January 6th stuff? Good God, dude.
First off, Trump said we go over there, but we have to be peaceful and patriotic.
No, he didn't. He didn't. He said, let's fucking go get him, hang my pants. And they went and did that.
Mean we peacefully walked there. We peacefully protest.
I would love to see Dave's footage of himself at January 6th.
Patriotically protest, but peacefully protest.
You didn't peacefully protest. You broke windows and smashed cops. I'm not going to lie. Next time this happens, they should be mowed the fuck down, man. I was waiting for it that day. I think you knew, though, right? There was something like, they're not going to actually just fire on all these people. They're MAGA. They like them to some extent. They just lost.
Trump also asked Nancy Pelosi for more National Guard. She denied him.
They're too scared to kill right-wingers. White-ringers, even. Bundy Ranch, yeah. They should, though.
Nancy Pelosi also didn't increase the D.C. police presence. And also, nobody on Trump's side had any weapons at all. That's why if this was an insurrection, it was the stupidest, lamest one in history. That's why I don't call it an insurrection. It was a bunch of idiots getting drunk and rowdy. And
a bunch of idiots getting drunk and rowdy. They obviously had weapons.
The only person killed was on our side. Yes, some police officers died a few days.
Was on our side.
Days later, but not because of the riot.
But not because of the riot. It was explicitly because of the riot. I'm glad he's calling it a riot. Yes, it was. They died from injuries from the riot. I don't know why you would pretend otherwise.
One of them died of a heart attack. They're like, well, the riot brought it on. Really? Anything could have brought it on.
That's what they're going to say when Dave kills himself. Really? Anything could have brought it on.
And finally, last one is $2.95 a couple here.
Blah, 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 blah. Good God.
The Authoritarian National Project 2025 is the blueprint for the Trump's administration's second term.
Definitely.
As of writing of its 316 objective, 114 have been fully realized. Okay, can you name 3 in your book? 64 more are already in.
Can you name 3 in your book? All of it? Like they're doing all of it.
Progress. Again, this is a lie. Trump's agenda was not Project 2025. It was Agenda 47.
Dude, this fucking guy is brainwashed. Name 3 Project 2025 policies.
Trump says he has a mandate for these things. He does not. Again, Electoral College, all 7 swing states. You did worse in every conceivable metric. He has the House. He has the Senate. I think Trump has a mandate. He
doesn't have a mandate. He doesn't have a mandate. The fucking midterms, they're trying desperately not to be free and fair, are going to be absolutely smashed. I mean, the Republicans are freaking the fuck out because there's elections coming up. He has the lowest approval of any president ever, including himself, who was the second lowest approval rating of any president ever. 77% of Project 2025 last I saw. Let's go.
His victory was whisker thin.
Like I said, the only good thing about any of this is winning on the other side of it and then out of the rubble dismantling a bunch of the bad systems we did have and replacing them with good ones because they're too fucked to use anyway. Like, there's no sense in keeping the liberal life raft afloat when we could just build a real boat, you know? With some of the same pieces.
No.
It's going to take fixes to just decades to fix the court. And not if you fucking pack it. Not if you expand it. You can just expand it, install your guys, and be done.
Electoral college majority, and it wasn't even close. Popular vote, and it wasn't close. All 7 swing states.
Even Anna Kasparian had to admit she was wrong about Project 2025. Dude, has Matt Dillahunty yet? No. I have it on good authority. He's still fucking ass mad at everybody. Little bitch. Fuck, man.
And 2 of them were close. The rest, no. Decided by over 100,000 votes at least. You lost, and you lost historically bad, Kamala. He beat me by 1.5 percentage points in one of the closest elections in a century. No.
Immediately contradicts him.
The closest election this century was Bush v. Gore. That came down to a couple thousand votes in one state.
One of...
This was nowhere near close.
There's 77 through Department of State. Overall is 51%. Oh, good. Only 51%. 320 total objectives. Yay.
A third of the electorate voted for me, and 1/3 probably stayed home, and everybody else, or 1/4 probably stayed home, and everyone else voted for Trump. But a third...
No, like 60% of all voters stayed home. Or some shit. Like half. It's fucking crazy, dude. It's always a lot to process. I'm trying to understand modern America.
Third of the electorate stayed home. That means 2/3 of our country did not elect Donald Trump. More people voted for him than they voted for you.
More people didn't vote for either of them. 40% stayed at home.
2/3 of us did not choose this man or his agenda. Well, you should have tried to work hard and get the 1/3, according to your own words, the 1/3 that didn't show up. Trump.
Well, to get that percentage, to get that group of people, you would have to be leftist. Only 50% of adults vote. That's okay. Is it actually current roll time? About to be.
Trump had more voters than you. Trump had more electoral votes than you. Trump had the House, had the Senate. And all I've seen in the interim from when this book released to right now, today, January 24th, 2026, is the Democrats have continued to get weaker while the Republicans continue to get stronger. And
Stronger? They have less. Both parties have disapproval ratings in the dumps. You got to pay $50 not to vote? Why would you do that?
I really wish that the Democrats would pull the fucking nose up on their goddamn plane crash. Because I don't want one-party rule in this country, because I know what this will lead into. Eventually, people like Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, and Ben Shapiro will be able to get into power or into positions of influence, and they will lead, and they led to the same ruination for the Republicans that they experienced in the 90s, because the Republicans got in bed because of Reagan and Bush. They got in bed with the Jerry Falwells and the Pat Buchanans and the Peter Popoffs and whoever else was popular on the televangelist side of things, and it led to the 90s being dominated by Democrats. The problem is the Democrats of the 90s sound a lot like what Trump sounds like today.
Oh my God. Dave is worried about Christo-fascists getting into power? No, he doesn't disagree with them. He just thinks they're cringe or something. He's so fucking stupid, dude. Ugh, cracked open like an egg, I think.
They were sane back then. Now they are psychotic.
Now they're psychotic. You have the worst president in history being the craziest that we've had in a long time. And to him, it was worse in the 90s? The 90s. Everyone loves the fucking 90s unless you have any sort of wokeness whatsoever. What does he think's bad about the 90s? The fucking Rodney King? What does he think's bad about the fucking 90s? He's like, oh, it was Pizza Pockets and fucking Game Boy, dude.
Socialists, and anyone that is a center-left Democrat is repeatedly told to shut the fuck up.
Yes, center-left Democrats should shut the fuck up for sure. Center-left Democrats are idiots. Imagine being center-left. The fuck do you even like? I'm a big Whole Foods guy.
Yeah. Democrats, you need to repair yourself. You need to cast this far-left progressive wing out of your party. It is not the majority. If you give...
What? No, the far-left progressive wing is definitely the majority of people. It's not even a joke. It's obviously the majority of people.
If John...
You talk to anybody about what they want, majority of people agree with left-wing policies.
Fetterman were to run, and it was against...
Fetterman?
Somebody like...
Go ahead and run John Fetterman. I don't care. He will not do anything. That's insane to say. I cannot believe he's a John Fetterman guy. I guess the Walry have to stick together.
Michael Knowles, I'd vote for Fetterman in a second.
I guess I would also vote for John Fetterman against Michael Knowles.
But when you put up, but if you put up AOC, I'm sorry, I got.
Yeah, most people are leftist. Obviously, not all people are leftist, and certainly not all of them are consciously leftist. But if you ask them what should happen, and you're like, hey, you know what human beings need? Shelter, education, food, healthcare, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's true. I do need those things. Wouldn't you be able to do a lot more if you didn't have to pay rent to someone who doesn't even take care of the place? Yeah. Your Australian sensibilities.
I'm gonna hold my nose and vote for the theologian. The one who wants a
Right, don't believe in healthcare at all, ADD. They don't believe in healthcare at all. You live in a socialist healthcare state. You gotta reframe your fucking mind. These guys want to privatize all healthcare. You're clearly ignorant of what's going on. Like you said.
theocracy.
Why would you assert things you don't know? Admittedly, as you said.
Oh, now I would have used Charlie Kirk as the example, but unfortunately, he was assassinated, so... But eventually, yeah, you're going to get somebody like that. And then it will be disaster. And again, the progressives, the socialists, they're taking over the Democrat Party, and it will mean the Democrats are in a permanent minority from now until the end of time. So
disagree. You put the socialists in charge, the other Mom Donnies we have, we're going to be in charge forever. Big disagree.
Anyway, that's my review of Kamala Harris's 107
Thank you, Queen.
days. If you'd like me to do more books written by leftist idiots
more
and
queens.
race grifters and whatnot, let me know in the comments section below.
I don't believe he'd be capable of reading anything, but I do think we should suggest leftist literature to him.
Until then, I will see you another time. Thank you for sitting with me during this long-ass video. And yeah, until next time.
A lawn video. That was quite lawn. Congratulations, Ding Knowers. You fucking did it, though. Look at that. The Knowers did it. Consider it knowed. Wow.